Now, let us study about microbes in human welfare. Microbes are just as important to Earth's biological system as the plants and animals we see every day. While we focus on big organisms, the microscopic world is actually a major component of life. If you look at the five kingdoms of life, microbes are everywhere. Kingdom Monera, which has bacteria, entirely microscopic. Kingdom Protista, which has protozoa and amoeba, entirely microscopic. Kingdom Fungi, it has yeast and molds. Among them, some are microscopic. Kingdom Plantae or Animalia, most are macroscopic, but they have microscopic stages or relatives. Microbes are ubiquitous, meaning they are present everywhere. They do not just live in soil, water, and air. They thrive in extreme environments where nothing else can survive, like in deep sea hydrothermal vents where temperature hit 100 degrees Celsius, in extreme depths, that is, deep inside the soil or under meters of thick snow, in high acidity environments that would dissolve most other life forms. Microbe is a broad term that covers a huge variety of biological agents. These include bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. It also includes viruses, which is genetic material wrapped in a protein. Virions. It is even smaller than viruses. It is just RNA. Prions. These are proteinaceous infectious agents, essentially misfolded proteins that cause disease. That means prions are misfolded proteins which cause disease. While individual microbes are too small to see, we can study them by growing them in a lab on nutritive media like agar plates. When they multiply by the billions, they form colonies that are visible to the naked eye. This is how scientists study their behavior and characteristics. Now let us see use of microbes in household products. The most common example of microbes at work is turning milk into curd. A group of bacteria called lactic acid bacteria, specifically Lactobacillus, is responsible for this. When you add a starter, that is a spoon of old curd, to warm milk, millions of lactic acid bacillus begin to grow. They produce acids that clump the milk proteins together and partially digest them. The benefits are it changes the texture from liquid to solid. It boosts nutrition by adding vitamin B12. Once inside your stomach, these good bacteria act like a security guard and fight disease causing germs. Take dosa, idli, and bread. Ever wonder why your breakfast is so fluffy? It is all about gas. The dough for dosa, idli, and bread rises or puffed up because microbes are performing fermentation. As these microbes eat the sugars in the dough, they release carbon dioxide. This gas gets trapped, creating air bubbles that make the dough puff up. For bread, we use a specific fungus called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It is commonly known as baker's yeast. In many traditional recipes, these bacteria are naturally present in the air or on the grains like rice and lentils themselves. Microbes are not just for dairy, they help preserve and flavor foods across different cultures. In southern India, people ferment the sap from palm trees to create this traditional drink called toddy. Microbes are also used to treat fish, soybean, and bamboo shoots to give them unique textures and savory flavors. If you see the world of cheese, cheese is one of the oldest foods involving microbes. The specific microbe used determines the personality of the cheese, that is, its taste and look. Let us take an example of Swiss cheese, known for its big holes. These holes are created by a bacterium called Propionobacterium shermani, which burps out massive amount of CO2 gas. Next example is Roquefort cheese. This variety is ripened using specific fungi which grow through the cheese to give it a very distinct sharp flavor. Next time you eat a piece of bread or a bowl of curd, remember you are not just eating food, you are enjoying the result of a tiny biological factory working to make your meal tastier, fluffier, and more nutritious. Now, let us see the use of microbes in industry. While we often think of microbes as germs, they are actually industrial powerhouses. In factories, we use them to create products like life saving antibiotics and popular beverages. To do this at a massive scale, we do not just use small jars, we use giant specialized tanks called fermenters. Think of these as microbe hotels where billions of microorganisms are fed and kept at perfect temperature to do their work. Let us talk about fermented beverages. Humans have been using yeast to make drinks for thousands of years. The star of the show is a specific fungus called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It is known as brewer's yeast, the same species used as baker's yeast for bread. This yeast eats the sugars found in malted cereals like barley or fruit juices like grapes and converts them into ethanol or alcohol and CO2. Not all alcoholic drinks are made the same way. The final product depends on two things: the raw material used and whether or not the liquid is distilled. If you see the products without distillation, these are bottled directly after fermentation. They generally have a lower alcohol content. Examples: wine and beer. If you see products with distillation, to make these, the fermented liquid is heated and condensed to concentrate the alcohol. This results in much stronger spirits. Examples: whiskey, brandy, and rum. Now we will see about antibiotics. Antibiotics are often called wonder drugs, and for good reason. They represent one of the most important medical breakthroughs of 20th century, saving millions of lives by fighting off deadly infections. What does the name mean? The word antibiotic comes from two Greek words. Anti means against, bio means life. While against life sounds scary, it is all about perspective. To a disease causing germ, a antibiotic is against life because it kills it. But to a human being, antibiotics are pro life because they help us survive infections that used to be fatal. How they work? Antibiotics are powerful chemical substances produced by certain microbes like fungi or bacteria. Their job is simple but effective. They kill the harmful bacteria outright, or they retard or slow down the growth of the bacteria so the body's immune system can finish the job. Let us see the story of penicillin. It was a lucky accident. The discovery of first antibiotic penicillin happened by pure chance. The scientist Alexander Fleming in 1928, while studying Staphylococci bacteria, he noticed something strange on an unwashed culture plate. A green mold had started to grow, and the bacteria around that mold were dying off. He realized the mold was producing a chemical that killed the bacteria. The mold was Penicillium notatum, and he named that chemical as penicillin. While Fleming found it, it took two other scientists, Ernst Chain and Howard Florey, to figure out how to turn it into a stable, effective medicine. It was used massively during World War II to treat wounded soldiers. In 1945, all three men shared the Nobel Prize for their work. Why they matter today? Before antibiotics, common diseases were often death sentences. Today, we use various antibiotics to treat plague, whooping cough, which is called Kali Kansi, diphtheria, which is called Galgotu, leprosy, which is called Kustro. Other common antibiotics you might have heard of include streptomycin from soil bacteria or erythromycin. In the modern world, it is almost impossible to imagine healthcare without these life saving tools. Now, let us see about chemicals, enzymes, and other bioactive molecules produced in industries. Let us talk about organic acid producers. Microbes are masters at fermenting sugars into specific acids. Think of these as the four key pairs. Citric acid, which is produced by Aspergillus niger, a fungus. It is commonly used as a preservative. Acetic acid, which is also called as vinegar. It is produced by the bacterium Acetobacter aceti. Next is butyric acid. It is produced by the bacterium Clostridium botulicum. Last is lactic acid. It is produced by the bacterium Lactobacillus, the same one that turns milk into curd. If you take industrial alcohols and enzymes, we also use microbes to make products for our daily course and food industry. Take an ethanol, produced commercially using yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Take an lipases. These are enzymes used in laundry detergents. They are one that breaks down tough oily stains on clothes. Think of pectinases and proteases. If you ever wondered why store-bought fruit juice is crystal clear while homemade juice is cloudy, it's because of these enzymes. They break down the fibers, pectin and proteins to clarify the juice. If you take bioactive molecules, these are specialized molecules that perform specific biological function inside the human body. Let's talk about three bioactive molecules: streptokinase, cyclosporin A, and statins. First, streptokinase. It is called clot buster. It is obtained from bacterium streptococcus. It is used for patients who have suffered a heart attack, that is, myocardial infarction. It acts like a drain cleaner for the circulatory system, dissolving dangerous blood clots in the blood vessels. Usually, myocardial infarction occurs when there is a blockage of the circulatory system to the heart. That blockage is dissolved by this streptokinase. That's why it is called clot buster. Next biomolecule is cyclosporin A. It is a immune suppressant. It is obtained from fungus Trichoderma polysporum. When a patient receives an organ transplant, their immune system might try to attack the new organ. Cyclosporin A keeps the immune system quiet so the body accepts the transplant. Next bioactive molecule is statins. They are cholesterol lowerers. They are obtained from yeast Monoscus purpuris. These help lower high blood cholesterol. They work by competitive inhibition. Essentially, they block the enzyme in your body that tries to manufacture cholesterol. Now let us see use of microbes in sewage treatment. Every day, cities produce massive amounts of wastewater called sewage. It is mostly human waste packed with organic matter and dangerous disease causing pathogens. We cannot just dump this into rivers because it would destroy the ecosystem and spread disease. To fix this, we use sewage treatment plants. The magic ingredient here is not a chemical. It is a heterotrophic microbes that naturally live in the waste. During phase 1, that is during primary treatment, it is called physical clean. Think of this as the filtering stage. It is all about physical removal. First, we filter out floating debris like plastic or paper through sequential filtration. Next, the water is allowed to sit in a tank. So, grit, which consists of soil and small pebbles, can sink to the bottom. It is called sedimentation. The solid waste that settled is called primary sludge. The liquid on the top is called effluent, which moves on to the next stage. Next stage is secondary treatment. It is also called the biological clean. This is where the microbes do their work. This stage is called biological treatment. The liquid or the effluent is pumped into the huge tanks where air is constantly bubbled in. This oxygen allows aerobic bacteria to grow into flocks. Flocks is a masses of bacteria held together by fungal filaments. These microbes eat the organic waste in the water. As they eat, they reduce the biochemical oxygen demand. Simple rule: high BOD or biological oxygen demand means the water is very polluted. Low BOD means the water is becoming clean. Once the BOD is low enough, the water goes to a settling tank. The bacterial flocks sink to the bottom, forming activated sludge. A little bit of this sludge is recycled back into the aeration tank, like a starter for a yogurt, to keep the process going. The rest of the sludge goes into a tank without oxygen. Here, anaerobic bacteria eat the aerobic bacteria and fungi. This process produces biogas consisting methane, CO2 and H2S, which can be used as a clean fuel for heating or electricity. Why it matters? After these two stages, the treated water is clean enough to be released into the rivers. Due to the urbanization, we are producing more sewage than our current plants can handle. When we dump untreated sewage, we get waterborne diseases and dead rivers, resulting pollution. In India, government took initiatives like the Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan were created to build more of these plants to protect our major water resources. For over 100 years, no human technology has been able to beat the efficiency of these tiny microbes in keeping our planet's water clean. Now let us see microbes in production of biogas. Biogas is a mixture of gases, primarily methane. It is produced by the breakdown of organic matter by microbes. Think of it as a renewable fuel created by tiny living factories. The specific gas produced depends on two things. One, the type of the microbe, and two, the organic material they are eating, that is, substrate on which they are eating. While yeast in bread or cheese produces CO2, specific bacteria called methanogens like Methanobacterium produce methane, carbon dioxide, and H2S. These methanogens thrive in anaerobic environment, that is, oxygen-free environments. You will find them in two main places. One is sewage treatment plants. Remember, specifically in the anaerobic sludge. Second is the rumen of cattle. Rumen is a specialized part of a cow's stomach. Why is this important? Cattle eat a lot of cellulose, that is, plant fibers. Humans cannot digest cellulose, but these bacteria can digest. Where these bacteria are present? Inside the cattle's stomach. They break down the cellulose in the cow's rumen, providing nutrition to the animal. Because of this, cow dung is naturally packed with these methane producing bacteria, making it the perfect starter for biogas. Now let us see how a biogas plant works. A biogas plant is a simple but efficient system designed to capture these gases. One, it has the digester. It is a concrete tank about 10 to feet deep, is built underground. We feed it a slurry, which is a mix of water and a bio waste like cow dung. Two, it has the floating cover. A lid sits on the top of the slurry. As the bacteria eat the waste and release gas, the pressure pushes this cover upward. This acts as a visual gauge of how much gas has been produced. Third is distribution. An outlet pipe carries the trapped biogas directly to nearby homes for cooking and lighting. Now, the leftover, which is also called as spent slurry, is pushed out through a different outlet. It is rich in nutrients and is used by farmers as high quality fertilizers. So we are getting two things from biogas plant. One is biogas and second is high quality fertilizer. Biogas plant is popular in rural areas. Since biogas requires a steady supply of cattle dung, biogas plants are most common in villages where livestock is plentiful. In India, the technology was pioneered by the IARI, that is Indian Agricultural Research Institute, and KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. It is a perfect circular economy. The cattle feeds the plant feeds the kitchen with fuel, and the waste feeds the crops. Now let us see use of microbes as biocontrol agents. For a long time, we relied on insecticides and pesticides to protect crops. While effective, these chemicals are indiscriminate. They kill everything they touch, including beneficial insects. They also poison our soil, water, and food. Biocontrol is a holistic alternative. Instead of using toxins, it uses natural predation. The philosophy of an organic farmer is biodiversity is health. That is, a varied ecosystem is more sustainable. He tells that manage but don't eradicate. We should not wipe out pests entirely because beneficial predators need them for food. And we should balance, keeping pests at manageable levels through a complex system of checks and balances. Before looking at microbes, we look at visible biocontrol agents we already know. Take in ladybirds or ladybugs. Their red and black markings warn predators away while they feast on aphids. Take in dragonflies. These are excellent at clearing out mosquitoes. Now, let us see about microbial biocontrol agents. When insects are too small or numerous for predators alone, we use microorganisms. Here are the three examples. First is Bacillus thuringiensis. This is a bacterium used to control butterfly caterpillars. How it works? It is sold in sachets as dried spores. Farmers mix it with water and spray it on the plants like brassicas, that is broccoli or cabbage, or other fruit trees. When a caterpillar eats the leaves, the spores enter its gut. The alkaline environment of the gut triggers the release of a toxin that kills the larva. By genetic engineering, scientists have now taken the Bt toxin gene and put it directly into the plant DNA. This created plants like Bt cotton, which are naturally resistant to pests. Second is Trichoderma. This is a fungus used to treat plant diseases rather than just killing insects. It is a free living fungus found commonly in the root ecosystem as a rhizosphere. It acts as a shield for the roots, effectively controlling several different plant pathogens that live in the soil. Third is baculoviruses. These are viruses that attack insects and other arthropods. Most belong to genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. They are highly species specific. They have a narrow spectrum, meaning they only kill the target pest. They do not harm plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even non target insects. Because they are so precise, they are perfect for ecologically sensitive areas where we want to conserve beneficial insects while still managing pests. It is called IPM, that is Integrated Pest Management. In summary, the transition to biocontrol is about moving away from chemical warfare and towards ecological management. By understanding the life cycles of pests and utilizing bacteria like Bt, fungi like Trichoderma, and viruses like baculoviruses, we can protect our food without destroying the environment. Now, let us see the use of microbes in biofertilizers. In our modern world, environmental pollution is a massive concern. A big part of that pollution comes from the chemical fertilizers. While They helped us grow more food in the past. They have caused long term damage to our soil and water. Because of this, there is a huge push toward organic farming, which uses biofertilizers instead of synthetic chemicals. What exactly are biofertilizers? Think of biofertilizers as living fertilizers. Unlike a bag of chemicals, these are living organisms that naturally improve the nutrient quality of the soil. There are three main categories of microbes that do this work: bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are often called blue-green algae. Let us take a nitrogen fixers. Bacteria are nitrogen fixers. Plants need nitrogen to grow, but they cannot just take it from the air. They need microbes to fix it into a form they can eat. You might know Rhizobium. It is a symbiotic bacteria. It lives in the root nodules of the legumes like peas and beans. It takes nitrogen from the atmosphere and gives it to the plant. Others like Azospirillum and Azobacter, they live freely in the soil and enrich it with nitrogen without needing to attach to a specific plant. Let us see about the underground network formed by the fungi. Fungi also form partnership with plants called mycorrhiza. A common example is the genus Glomus. The fungus absorbs phosphorus from the soil and hands it to the plant. These plants become tougher, they handle drought and salt better, and they are more resistant to root diseases. You might wonder, what does the fungus get? In return for the phosphorus, the plant provides the fungus with energy, that is, sugars, produced through photosynthesis. It is a perfect win win situation. Next, we will talk about aquatic helpers. They are cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are special because they are autotrophic. They make their own food and they are found in both water and land. Examples include Anabina, nostoc, and oscillatoria. In rice fields, that is paddy fields, these are essential. They fix nitrogen and add organic matter to the soil, naturally boosting fertility. Today, these biofertilizers are not just a lab experiment, they are sold commercially. Farmers are increasingly using them to replenish soil nutrients, which help reduce our dependency on harmful chemicals and keeps our environment cleaner.